Hey Cowboys Nation, that was a crazy week in the world of America's team. Already got people screaming for us to dump a ridiculously expensive draft bust. While there's hot talk about a wide receiver coming in to pick up the slack without CD, man, that hurts. Smack in the middle of all that, our offensive line turns into a soap opera with yet another bad injury. And to cap it all off, we get one piece of news that could be a total game changer for the defense. Just hold on to your hats for that one. You know, when you look at a player, you're just like, man, this guy did not pan out the way they promised. Yeah, that's the whole vibe in Dallas right now with Mozzie Smith. The dude came in as a first-round pick, a $13 million contract with all that pressure of being the future of our defensive line. But the truth is, he hasn't even delivered close to what we expected. Bleacher Report has already thrown out the idea to trade Smith before the deadline. Seriously, they're projecting we might only snag a sixth-round pick in return. They mentioned the Buffalo Bills and Indianapolis Colts as potential buyers. And that makes you think, dang, we spent a fortune on this prospect only for him to turn into a late pick. That stings, man. Smith is a 6'3", 337 lb physical monster. But when you check the stats, it just makes you want to cry. And 30 for games, only 50 for tackles. He's got a grand total of 2 sacks in his entire career. Isn't that low? It's practically nothing for the investment we made. Especially when you remember we brought in Kenny Clark in that Micah Parsons trade. So Mozzie's role just got even smaller. To be straight with you, I get the folks who preach patience. Smith himself said in interviews that he's trying to focus, listen to the new coach Schottenheimer, and tune out the noise from the internet. He even said, if it ain't from the locker room or the coaches, I don't want to hear it. That's a cool stance, but a good stance doesn't win games. Production wins games, and the fan base is getting antsy. We all know how it goes. A first-rounder has to be a starter. They got to show up, especially in Dallas, where the heat is always cranked up. It's not just the coach demanding consistency. The fans, the veterans, everyone is starting to give him the side eye. The problem seems crystal clear. With a new staff and a stronger defensive rotation, Mozzie has fallen out of the game plan. He got in against the Bears, sure, but 18 snaps with 0 stat line, no tackles, no nothing. It's tough to defend that. Now, think about the dilemma. Do we keep him and hope for a miracle? Or do we trade him ASAP and try to salvage any value? I know it hurts to see a high pick flame out like this, but sometimes you got to cut your losses before they get even bigger. And you only get this kind of straight-up no BS fan take right here. Comment below if you agree. Do we hold on to Mozzie or ship him out? Because look, if Jerry Jones had the guts to get rid of Parsons, imagine what he might do with Smith and chill out, because if that news gets you riled up, the next one is going to poke the offense even harder. The Cowboys offense lost CD Lamb for a few weeks and boom, suddenly everything changed. Without him, Brian Schottenheimer's machine just doesn't hum the same. It's that empty feeling we get right away on the first drive. We miss the guy who can break a defense over the middle and still scare them deep. And check this out. The whispers have already started. Xavier Legette might be showing up in Dallas. Bleacher Report threw that possibility out there. Legette was a first-round pick by the Carolina Panthers back in 2024. He's 6'3" to 127 pounds. Ran a 4.39 at the combine. He's physical, fast, and intimidating on contact, but sure, his numbers so far are underwhelming. His rookie year was for 197 yards for TDs. This season, after the games, just 8 yards. So, you think, why the heck would we risk it on a guy like that? To be honest with you, I see 2 things here. First, his contract is sweet for the team. Low cap hit, 3 years of control. That's gold for a team that already has expensive stars like Dak and Micah on the books. Second, Leggett's style fits what Schottenheimer likes. Quick passes, slants, short throws that turn into big plays. Right now, only CD delivers that consistently. Without him, a ton of pressure lands on George Pickens, who's awesome on contested catches, but not really a yak guy. The catch, of course, is the price tag. They're talking about a conditional 3rd-round pick in 2026. That's a tough pill to swallow, especially since Jerry Jones doesn't like giving up high picks for prospects. But no one expected him to trade Parsons, and that happened. In Jerry's world, anything is possible. And I know the fan base is already split. Some folks are saying it's insane to bet on a guy who couldn't even stick in Carolina. But then you have others who remind us sometimes a player just needs the right environment. And Dallas could be that place with the crowd rocking the AT&T Stadium, and an offense that values his physicality. The fans are demanding quick action, too, because without CD, this offense gets way too predictable. And if the team waits too long, we could hit the bye week already trailing in the division. That's the kind of risk that can cost you dearly down the stretch. You only get this unfiltered thought process right here. We're talking about using an immediate problem to maybe turn into a future solution. Now, of course, none of that fixes the drama on another unit that's totally broken right now. Hang tight, because the next news is all about the offensive line. And trust me, this part hurts even worse. Cowboys Nation is so over talking about injuries, but we can't escape it. The offensive line is a total disaster movie. First, it was Robert Jones with a bad neck injury. Then, center Cooper Beebe with an ankle. And now, against the Bears, Tyler Booker, our first-round rookie, went down too. Guess what? Same high ankle sprain problem. Out for a month, maybe more. It's surreal, man. 3 starting interior O-linemen out right at the start. The team has some promising young guys like TJ Bass and Trevor Keegan, but let's be real. Protecting Dak and opening lanes for the run game is not an easy job for those kids. A Bleacher Report already had a suggestion. Dallas should go after a veteran. The name that keeps popping up is Mark Glowinski. Glowinski might not be a superstar, but he has a solid resume. 101 career starts, a ton of experience, and a stint on that legendary Colts line from 2018 to 2021. At 33, he's not in his prime anymore, but he still delivers enough to hold down the fort. And let's be honest, what Dallas needs right now is a luxury. It's stability. To be frank with you, I'm all for this idea because look, we can't expect rookies to handle such a huge hole all by themselves. And we know it. When the O-line breaks, the entire offense collapses. We've seen Dak running for his life before, and we don't need a replay. The best part, Glowinski wouldn't cost much. Free agent, twilight of his career, short contract. It's pretty much the perfect package to plug the gap. Plus, having a guy who knows playoff pressure, who's faced top defenses, could be the glue to hold the group together. The fans feel it, too. You see it all over social media. Bring in anyone with experience. We can't just rely on the new guys. The faithful are echoing that sentiment, demanding the front office do something. Because if the defense is already struggling, the least the offense needs is time for the quarterback to work. Sure, there's a risk. Glowinski isn't the same guy. He only played 5 games in 2024 and was just average. But compared to what we have now, it's an immediate upgrade. And honestly, there's no room for sentimentality right now. This is about survival. You only get this raw take right here. Without a veteran boost, this O-line is going to implode. And if it implodes, say goodbye to the season. Comment below if you agree. Should Dallas go get Glowinski or stick with the young guys? Now, take a deep breath because the next news brings a wave of hope. And it's not just any hope. It's a $90 million All-Pro who's about to return. If there's one unit that's been a total nightmare this season, it's the Cowboys' defense. 3 games, nearly to 100 yards given up, dead last in passing defense, and only 1 forced turnover. It's tough to even talk about. And when you look at the corners, it seems even worse. Trevin Diggs is rusty. Kellen Carson has been invisible after a good training camp. And rookie Sean Revel is still recovering from injury. But then the news that could change everything drops. Darren Bland is expected back as early as week 4. That is not small news. Bland signed a massive contract. For years, $90 million with almost $50 million guaranteed. That's all pro money. But the start was frustrating. A right foot injury, the same problem that messed up last season into weeks out. Coincidence or not, during that time, the defense gave up 720 passing yards against the Giants and Bears. It was a disaster without him on the field. When he's healthy, Bland is simply a playmaker. He led the NFL with 9 interceptions in 2023, 5 of them returned for a touchdown. That's not normal. That's straight out of a video game. And he's got the football IQ, route recognition, anticipation, the instincts of a veteran in a young player's body. Schottenheimer himself said, "It's rare to see someone so young with that level of field vision." To be honest with you, I'm torn. On one hand, it's incredible to imagine the defense getting back a guy who can flip a game on one play. On the other, the injury history is super worrying. Bland missed a good chunk of last season because of the same foot, and investing $90 million in a guy who might not stay healthy is a huge gamble. But let's look at the glass half full. If Bland really comes back now, along with Clowney's debut on the pass rush and the possible return of Revel right after, this defense goes up a level. It won't become the best in the league overnight, but it won't be the sieve we've seen these past few weeks. Jerry Jones even said there's a good chance he plays. And when Jerry says that, usually there's some truth to the smoke. The fans are thirsty for good news on the defense. The faithful are also demanding more consistency because every game becomes a nightmare. When the secondary can't cover anyone, you only get this mixed feeling right here. Anxiety, hope, and that knot in your stomach. Bland could be the breather the defense needs to hold the line, while the offense recovers from their injuries. Now, hold on, because we still need to wrap all this up and understand what it means for America's team. Right now, man, look at how much this team messes with our emotions. In just a few days, we've talked about a potential goodbye to Mozzie Smith, considered a bold offensive move with Liggett, watched the offensive line totally fall apart, and even found a solution in a veteran, only to breathe a sigh of relief with the return of a super expensive All-Pro on defense. That's the Cowboys package: hope, frustration, and that fire that never burns out. And that's why this discussion never stops.